What makes Union Square Cafe special is it's always been a restaurant that's about time and place. It's always been a restaurant that has told the story of New York City. When people say, oh, is it hard working at a 40-year-old restaurant? Well, I'm not telling the story of New York in 1985. I'm telling the story of New York right now in 2025. My name is Lena Ciardullo, and I'm the executive chef of Union Square Cafe. Food should feel like a hug. Coming in to eat at a restaurant should feel like coming home. You should feel welcomed. You should feel like it's delicious, but not necessarily challenging you. I don't like to be challenged, or I don't like the idea of challenging guests. I like the idea of giving them something that makes them feel warm and comforted and happy, and it just brings joy to people. And so that's kind of the ethos of our food. I want it to feel like if you went to your grandma's house and your grandma was a phenomenal cook and she made you this gorgeous plate of what was in season, and kind of taking us back to this simpler day, right? And then adding in a little bit of what makes it now, what makes it New York in 2025, what makes it feel like it came from the green market down the street, what tells you that you're in New York City. It doesn't have to be specifically Italian, it doesn't have to be specifically French, it doesn't have to be one thing, but it has to feel this sense of home. And then if it does that, you're doing the right thing. So this is a Lumache sausage and peppers. So it's Lumache San Gennaro. It's gonna have Italian sausage, roasted peppers, some red hot peppers and pepper puree, fresh oregano. All of the flavors of the San Gennaro Festival come into life with our house extruded Lumache pasta. We really wanted to spotlight that idea of time and place. And when you think about New York in September, you think about San Gennaro festivals. How are we feeling going into service? We've got 94 covers on the book. Does anybody, you guys know we had morning market meetings? The executive chef of a restaurant is only as good as their team. That's just the reality of it in a restaurant this size. I mean, you can kind of look around the room here. This is a really big space. Within it, you need a lot of people to make it function. You need a lot of people to make it work. So the way that we train our team is a reflection of ourselves. And to think anything less than that is to not actually have your food be what you want it to be. You have to get people invested in what your mission is. You have to get people who care as much as you care about the point of it all, because then with that investment, you actually start to see that they're making the same decision that you would make even when you're not there.
In terms of Enlightened Hospitality, one of the tenets is definitely taking care of each other. By taking care of each other, our coworkers, we're better able to take care of our guests that are coming in the restaurant. It's just a virtuous cycle of hospitality, and you know, it's a model that we try to live by, and everything is judged by how well we stick to that model. My name is Bob, and I've been a server here at Union Square Cafe for almost 28 years. I love the fact that on a really pure, genuine level, I get to connect with the person that I might be interacting with at the table. I mean, it doesn't always happen, and you have to kind of read the guests that are sitting that, you know, they might not want that to happen. They might just want to have a quick meal, have something to drink and leave. But for those that you get to connect with on a truly, truly real level, it's nothing better.
This is the infamous Union Square Cafe balsamic broccoli with black garlic, candied pecans, pomegranate, mint, and jalapeno. So I wanted something that I could get a really good quality vegetable that you can get it from the market for a lot of the year, and that kind of scratches an itch for all the different flavor profiles. So you get crunchy, you get tangy, you get vegetal, you get a little bit of heat from the jalapeno, you get a little bit of creaminess from the yogurt, so you just get a little bit of everything going on there. It has 3 or 4 years of being on the menu. It's become the thing I can't take off, and it's got a following. So it's kind of that under-promise, over-deliver dish on the menu of Union Square Cafe, because we just call it broccoli, but people keep coming back for more.
We're driven by the seasons. We use local purveyors as much as we can. And we put a really incredible product on the table that is, you know, driven by the ingredients of the plate.
Seasonality is the backbone of this restaurant. So that is because the Union Square Green Market is just down the street. It really does determine what we do in terms of what lands on our menu, because a big part of this restaurant is community, and a big part of community that you have to be aware of if you're putting food on a plate is where the food came from. And so that food is coming from farmers, that food is coming from purveyors and growers, and we really try to source in a responsible way. It's been a part of what Union Square Cafe history has been forever. Before that was trendy, and it still is. If you want to form relationships with farmers at the Green Market, you have to go to the Green Market. So you can't just order via email. You have to come in, you have to taste, you have to have conversations. And more than anything else, you have to have humanity. Just because you want it doesn't mean they can grow it. They have staffing issues too, they have things going on too, so it takes building a relationship like it would with anybody else. There's no farmer that got into farming because they thought they were gonna make millions of dollars. They got into it because they're really passionate about what they're growing. So when you match that, and when you show care and attention to the products that they're making, and I think they can feel a transfer of care of the thing that they've gotten to some point, and then they know that they can trust you to show it off nicely. I think that really helps build a relationship.
Restaurants are looking for unique ingredients. Farms that are at this market that are trying to market to restaurants are trying to find unique ingredients that entice the chefs. So it's this like double-edged sword of like chefs push farmers, farmers push chefs cooking. And it's like, you know, the growth over, you know, a restaurant like Union Square for 40 years is like what it does for produce, what it does for menus. It's an amazing thing. Chefs and farmers working together.
This business is a really tough business, so to make it kind of fun, we work with breeders to come up with new and exciting things, or at least improve on. The Northeast isn't really like California is the best place to grow vegetables in the United States, like in terms of climate, sort of, although they're having their issues. But so growing stuff here is a lot more challenging, so we need to figure out ways of doing things. And so that entails breeding. It entails trialing varieties that might work here that don't work, say, in California or other places. So we're constantly doing that so that we can definitely make sure that we have a new catalogs in front of chefs every year.
Keeps it interesting. It's a 40-year-old restaurant. We got to keep it fresh. I really hope that Union Square Cafe continues on the trajectory that we've been on. I think that we have amazing guests. I think the people who come in are rooting for us, and that feels really wonderful. We have amazing staff who are invested. They care about our mission. They care about what we're doing. We're profitable. Not every restaurant can say that. No restaurant is rolling in money. If they are, I'm fairly certain there's illegal activity happening there, but we're profitable. We're able to keep going. We're able to keep this momentum moving, and that's what I want. I want to keep making people happy. I want to keep being true to who we are, and I want to keep having people who believe in that enough that they want to stick around and be part of the next generation, so that when we eventually do pass the torch to them, they're ready to keep carrying it.